1.5. Look at that. We are live. Welcome to the broadcast, and we are with registered dietitian Erin Kenney. I get advice from Erin, and one of the things I get advice on is vitamins and supplements. And I thought I'd share some of the advice with you because it seems to be helping out these days. Like many of you, I try to watch what I eat, but you got to be careful because you don't want to miss out on the important stuff. So anyway, thanks for being with us. Where are you coming to us from? Tennessee?
I am in Tennessee, yes.
I can see out your window what looks like to be a horse place.
It's a dog park, which we actually just got a new puppy. So this is quite literally the perfect location for her.
What kind of puppy?
She's a golden retriever.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah, she's very cute, but lots of hair. So if you don't like hair in your food, then don't get a golden.
So what we're going to talk about today includes why it's important to get good supplements and good quality vitamins. The temptation is to go to the supermarket and just buy the stuff you see there for $9.99, but high quality ones cost a lot more, and we'll find out if it's worth it and why. I'm going to find out before we go along too far about Erin's education experience and what exactly she does, how she does it, and what her specialty is. And the reason I want to focus on experience and education is I think you're one of the more educated and experienced people out there. I think you're the best. So tell them about all that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Nutrition really is my life and my passion. And a lot of that really stemmed from having my own health issues. But I am a registered dietitian. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's not the same as a nutritionist, but it's what people typically call a nutritionist. And I have a private practice, which is all virtual now. I'm from Boston, and I coach individuals one-on-one. I also have a group coaching program now where I really help people optimize their gut health. That is the focus of everything that I do, which means that I work with people who have autoimmune disease, who have different types of cancers, or are working on things like weight loss or gaining muscle, things like that. But my focus is gut health and the gut microbiome. And I've written a few cookbooks. I have my own line of CBD oil products. But yeah, this is my passion. And if people are interested, they can check out my website for more of that information.
All right. Let's start asking about gut health. Why is gut health so central to so much that people don't realize?
Yeah. So the majority of your immune system is actually located in the gut. And when we talk about immune function, especially after the year that we've had, right, we think about the pandemic, a lot of people have immune function as top of mind. If your immune system is not functioning optimally, you're not going to be able to fight off pathogens. You're not going to be able to digest and absorb food properly. You're not going to get good sleep, have good hormones. So everything is really connected back to that immune function. And then there's also a link towards mental health, for example. So your gut health produces neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA and melatonin. So that is literally just the tip of the iceberg of how your gut microbiome impacts aspects of your health. But everyone should be caring about their gut health.
The natural question is, are there certain things everybody should be taking to just have to maintain good gut health?
I would say diet would be the biggest focus because there isn't one like probiotic comes to mind, right? Not everybody needs a probiotic. Not everybody needs, a magnesium supplement or fiber. So I'd say dietary wise, everyone should be really focusing on lots of polyphenols in their diet. So things like dark chocolate, red grapes, lots of colored fruits and vegetables. And then I would also say that it's really important to get enough fiber. So that kind of groups into, fruits and vegetables as well. But that is key.
Is it possible to get everything you need if you ate well?
Not for everybody. Definitely not for everybody. And eating well looks different for everybody. So for instance, if you're vegan or vegetarian, there are certain nutrients that we're more concerned about, like B12 or iron or calcium. And then there are people who maybe exercise a lot and they're losing a lot of nutrients through their sweat that it becomes really difficult for them to replace those types of things. And most people, that I see struggle with gut health. They really do. And so what that means is that if you have some issues with your gut health, you're not absorbing nutrients properly. If you have a little overgrowth in your gut, H. pylori, inflammation, that's really going to impair your ability to absorb a lot of these nutrients. So those populations with gut health issues already are at much higher risk for not meeting their nutritional needs. And I used to, be of the team of, food is everything. You can get everything you need from food, but it's really not the case now. And a lot of that is due to the fact that the soil, the quality of the soil that our food is grown in has changed. The food industry has, adjusted in a way that doesn't optimize, the absorption of certain nutrients.
Seed oil. I don't want to forget about asking about that. Some people say seed oils are bad. Like if you take a supplement of some sort of grapeseed oil or whatever. And that doesn't include using seed oil to cook with, does it? Or does it?
So seed oil in and of itself is not inherently bad. I would say one that is more concerning to me would be things like canola oil. It really depends on the way that they're processed and the extraction method. So when you're extracting an oil, you have to go through a process of, extracting that into a form that you can use for cooking or whatever you're using it for. And therefore, it's really important that you get a good quality oil, or that you avoid having too much of these types of oils in your diet, because we want a good ratio. We want omega-6s and omega-3s. We want them to be in a nice balance. And the seed oils are omega-6s. And if you have too many omega-6s, then you're going to have more inflammation if you don't have enough omega-3s. So you want a balance. Seed oils are not inherently bad for you. You want a good quality one, and you want to get a balance of the omega-3s with them.
All right. So I season my cast iron frying pan with grape seed oil. That's not going to be a problem, right?
I'm not concerned about that. No.
All right. Okay. Now, big question, and we will get to the supplements and why it's important to get quality supplements and vitamins. However, big question, you said different strokes for different folks, meaning not everybody's dietary goals are the same. Some people are vegetarians. Where do you get your protein? Is protein overrated? Do people worry too much about protein? Let's just say I wanted to be a vegetarian. How do I make sure I get my protein?
There's definitely ways to get your protein, but you can't be, I'm going to call it like a lazy vegetarian or lazy vegan, where you just kind of go and buy processed foods from the supermarket and, buy deli meats that are made out of highly processed ingredients like soy and canola oil. It's really important that you meet with a dietitian in that transition if you're going into a plant-based diet, because you can get your protein, but it requires a lot of thought and preparation. And you have to think of the quality of the protein that you're getting. So a piece of steak, for example, contains the full amount of amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins that your body needs. So I'll give you a steak, for example, you've got everything you need. Now, if I were to hand you, some lentils, for example, that is a source of protein, but it doesn't have all the amino acids that you need. So I'd need to give you some lentils and maybe throw some corn in there and some peas. And then later in the day, you'd have some soy. And then at the end of the day, you'd then have all your amino acids. So
how do you know how to do that? How do you know all those plant-based things to eat to get the balanced amino acids? Is it written down somewhere?
It's probably written down somewhere. And if you follow, a vegan or vegetarian style diet, you're going to get very sick of eating the same things every day. Therefore, you should be rotating these. You don't necessarily need to be, tracking them to the T, saying I'm getting this many grams of lentils and this and that. The key is variety, and you'll likely be fine. There is concern with those vitamins, like I mentioned, B12. You can only find B12 in animal products. So if you don't eat eggs and fish, say you're maybe a pescatarian, that's a good way to get it. But if you're fully vegetarian, you are going to want to supplement with B12.
Can you get all the amino acids you got in beef in fish? Will fish take care of the same thing beef takes care of?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Is it important to eat some beef sometime, once a week, once a month?
This is a very heated, I posted something recently on Instagram, and I can't even tell you how many people are very passionate about one way or the other. And I am a fan of allowing meat in moderation, red meat, specifically beef. It's a great source of zinc and copper and iron and protein and B12. And for certain individuals, they may not tolerate beef. Maybe they have low stomach acid, which is really common, especially in the stressful world that we live in today. So they might eat beef and say, I feel worse, I get constipated, I don't feel good when I eat it. Or people that have Lyme disease, for example, there's some people have issues tolerating beef after those exposures. But for the majority of a healthy population, having beef every once in a while is a great source of a lot of these nutrients. If you get a grass-fed, organic, or local, even better, but product that is a really healthy, nutritious option.
One value that you have in terms of people working with you, like going to nutritionrewired.com, is you can help them with what they might want to replace beef with. I mean, you can't just eat lentils. You have to kind of rotate stuff. It's hard to know exactly how to rotate, but you know that, and you can help people with that. That's one of the services you provide, right?
I work with all types of people, vegans, vegetarians, people that want to do the keto diet. I don't have an issue with these things. I have an issue if people aren't doing it for the right reasons, and I'll provide them with the science. So if you want to do the keto diet, I will tell you, like, hey, there's not much science that supports that this is really going to help you, or maybe there is. And then we move forward and I meet you where you are. It's not about, I don't have one diet that I say is the right one for everyone.
Keto diet is where, how's that work? How does that work?
The keto diet is basically your body is fueling is from fats, essentially. So your body is not being given carbohydrates, and it's also limiting protein so that your body is now only reaching for fats for fuel. And people claim, to have a lot more energy, better digestion, better mood, because their body is, optimizing their blood sugar levels and not having these highs and lows and whatnot. But it's really used clinically for people that have epilepsy, children that have epilepsy. It's medically prescribed to reduce the amount of seizures that they have. And there is some, thought that it could help with neurological diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, things like that, because, for many different reasons. But like I said, it depends on the person. With nutrition, everything always depends. But it's an extreme diet, and I don't see a lot of people really sticking to it or doing it in a healthful way.
All right. I have a listener, Doug, who swears by it. He's a person that gets into everything wildly that he gets into, and he's really into that. He's also into CBD. He's into
That's awesome
stuff. Now, we have a question from a Phil. A Phil. How does aging alter my ability to absorb nutrients from the food I eat?
This is a great question, and it brings back to the topic of stomach acid. As you age, your stomach acid can get lower. And then obviously a lot of people start to stack up their medications as they get older. Maybe there's high cholesterol or blood pressure. So polypharmacy and just low stomach acid in general can impair your ability to absorb B12, calcium, iron, and then just your metabolism in general. It slows down. You tend to maybe have less of an appetite, and therefore you're not eating as much, not eating as much nutrient dense foods. And your body, it's not as robust. Your immune system isn't as robust. Your cell turnover isn't as robust. So all of those things can really impact that. And, being really focused on very nutrient dense foods and supplementing, making sure that you're getting blood tests done on a regular basis to make sure that you are meeting those needs. Because that's the best way to do it, is to test rather than just, guessing what you couldn't be getting.
Do you get these blood tests done at the doctor's office? And what tests do you get? Are they part of your routine yearly annual physical? Is that enough? Do you need to ask for special tests?
I often have clients have to ask for special tests. There's the complete blood count and the basic metabolic panel. Those are typically what your primary care will do once a year. And those are good. They offer a lot of insight. But for me, they're often not enough for me to assess the true optimization of health for a client. So I want to see vitamin D. That's usually an add-on test that tells you a lot
Yeah.
about
Mhm.
your risk for cancer and your immune function and your hormones. A full thyroid panel is also really important. Thyroid is responsible for your hair growth. It's responsible for your hormones, your metabolism. So not just TSH, but you want T4, T3. Those are really important for, just optimizing your health. And then, ferritin is not often included. So ferritin is the storage form of iron, and it's really important for your immune system and many other things, skin and whatnot. So that would be an additional one. Sometimes I have to add on. I use Inside Tracker. They're a great company that they will send you a lab slip. You bring it to a Quest Labs. You go get your blood drawn, and the results just come to you. You don't have to deal with anything to get those tests, but it's free through insurance if you can get your doctor to order it.
So you get your doctor to tell me how it works again. You get your doctor to order it, but you don't get the lab done at the doctor. You go to Quest
So you
Labs.
don't actually have to have your doctor involved. If you do the at home option, your doctor doesn't have to be involved at all.
Yeah.
You would just go to their website, purchase it, and there's tons of lab tests that you can get on the internet, like thyroid. But the Inside Tracker is a more complete one. They have like vitamin D, all the important ones, and you don't need your doctor at all. You just go online, purchase it. They give you a slip. You go to a Quest Labs, you're done. Versus the other option would be go to your doctor, get all the labs done, get it covered by insurance. That would be a perfect world, but we fight a lot with trying to get that done with a lot of my clients.
So you go to Tracker.
Inside Tracker, yeah.
Inside Tracker online, and you order the test you want. Then you also have to go to Quest Labs. And so you're paying Inside Tracker and paying Quest Labs?
You don't pay Quest Labs. That's already paid for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to pay Quest Labs, but you do pay Inside Tracker. I do have a discount code through them. It's Nutrition Rewired in all caps. You get 20% off.
That's a lot.
So that's a nice little perk that I have for clients.
So Quest Lab gets paid by Inside Tracker?
Likely, yes.
Okay. I mean, they're not going to do it for free, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's a question for older people. Actually older men. Tofu, bad? Question mark. I mean, isn't that a testosterone killer? And testosterone is kind of at a premium when you get older. Docs don't like to give you testosterone supplements because that is not good for prostate cancer,
liver,
and a bunch of stuff. You don't want to mess with that, but I guess you don't want to deplete what you naturally have, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can go two ways. So the way that soy acts is it acts like a phytoestrogen. People will always say, well, doesn't soy have, estrogen in it? It doesn't have estrogen, but it acts like an estrogen. So it's what we call the phyto, meaning plant estrogen. So when you eat soy, it goes into the body and it can react in two different ways. Your body could eat it. You could eat it and your body could say, oh, there's estrogen here, let's produce more testosterone. Or it could say, there's estrogen here, like, let's produce more estrogen, for example. So there's no way to know exactly how it reacts in your body. If we're strictly speaking about the research, which dietitians, we like to strictly speak about the research. I like to go, off on a science rant with it. But based on the research, it's not shown to impact testosterone.
Okay.
But I've seen things happen with clients, and who knows?
It is a processed food, right? Soy is very processed. You take these beans, you grind them up, you mash them down. They must add stuff in there. Why not just stay away from soy?
I like unprocessed soy, like tempeh, miso, edamame. These are unprocessed or lightly processed, obviously tempeh, but tempeh is also fermented. So when you have the fermentation process, you're adding in probiotics that help to break down some of those compounds in the soy. And that's why if I'm recommending any soy products, I recommend the fermented ones or the unprocessed ones.
Okay. Let's get to the main event. Supplements and vitamins. Why is it important to get the ones that cost $50 instead of $7?
Yeah, the supplement industry is something to be very skeptical of. This is like $1 billion who knows how many dollar industry. And these people, unfortunately, often do not have your best interest in mind. It's really easy to create a supplement. I can go out tomorrow and make a supplement, and I can make thousands and thousands of dollars off of it. And nobody's going to stop me. That's just the reality of it is. And so if I create a supplement that's just not harmful to you, but also not good quality, nobody is going to care. Like, no one's going to know. As long as nobody dies or has a heart attack from taking it, I can give you the cheapest, poorest quality supplement and sell it and make a bunch of money. So just to give you an idea of what is possible and who can do that, everyone can do it essentially. Now, the higher quality supplements, these are often having higher standards for testing. There's often times when they will be testing for contaminants in them. There are plenty of supplements out there that are contaminated with heavy metals, and there's been supplements that have been shown to have Viagra in them. There's been supplements that don't actually have any turmeric in them, even though they say it's a turmeric supplement. And so it is so important. The same way that what you eat, the quality of what you eat is important, the supplements are just as important, if not more, because it's easy for companies to, hide behind their label.
All right. So you're making sure that you're actually getting the proper stuff. That's the stuff that they say is in there. That's one reason. And I guess the actual real stuff costs more. At first, there's a sticker shock when you first recommended my over 50 men multivitamin. It's like, whoa, that's expensive. But, it's $50 for the month. I mean, think how much you spend on food, or in some cases beer. I mean, or even coffee. You spend way more than that on coffee. And this is crucial. This is a very core thing you want to have right. And it's nice to, after a pretty short time, we really start to appreciate knowing, or at least believing, that this is the best stuff. Is it okay to mention a brand that you trust? Are you recommended? Is it okay to mention a brand?
Yeah,
Thorn.
I'm fine with that.
You mentioned people seem to like Thorn, and that's kind of a standard go-to brand.
Thorn is great. I want to come back to your multivitamin point. They did a study on different multivitamins. This is Consumer Labs. If anyone listening is interested in getting a subscription to a company that literally all they do is test products and supplements and tells you what is good and what's not. Consumer Labs took a bunch of multivitamins like Centrum 1, which is a really popular one, Men's 1 a Day multivitamin. They took all these multivitamins and they tested how well they were absorbed in the stomach. And it was fascinating. You look at the picture and you could see that some of these multivitamins didn't even disintegrate. They just went through most of the digestive tract unaltered. So you could spend $50 and absorb nutrients, or you could spend $15 and you just are basically pooping out the $20 that you just spent on the supplement. So it's really is worth it. And yes, Thorn Labs is great. Pure Encapsulations is great.
Pure. That's where I have my vitamin D from them.
Mm-hmm. And if you look for certifications like the NSF certification, or third-party tested, GMP, following GMP practices, those are good ways to give you a little bit more insurance. There's always room for error, obviously, but those are additional things you can look for.
Have we covered all the reasons why it's expensive, why it's good to get trusted brand? For one is, you're getting what they say is really in there. You mentioned absorption. That's a key thing.
It's not
expensive ones.
It's not about what you take. It's not about what you eat. It's what you actually absorb, right? So you don't want to be, like I said, you pay for something, and if it doesn't even do anything, then you're really wasting your money. And what I hear a lot is, I take this multivitamin, I feel nauseous, I feel sick, I feel like I've had clients throw them up before. And then they take a good quality multivitamin and then they don't. It's Consumer Labs. Know that Consumer Labs is different from Consumer Reports.
Okay, cool. All right. Any other reasons to take the expensive vitamin? If not, we'll get into kind of what vitamins different groups should make sure they're taking. And I guess I would start with men over 50. What do I need to make sure I'm taking? Because I probably don't get it in my food, even though I am super good. I eat lots of broccoli, lots of fish, like fish every day, broccoli every day, beans that I make myself, nothing out of a can. Still, there's probably stuff I need, right?
I mean, not everybody. Like, you'd have to be pretty diligent about your diet to make sure that you are eating a whole, unprocessed, getting enough protein, things like that. But things to be concerned, men over 50, you want to get things like lutein and zeaxanthin, which are really important for prostate health and eye
Where do I get
health.
those?
Avocados are a great source of those, honestly.
Are those in the vitamins, the Thorne over 50 vitamins?
I'd actually have to double check. I think
all
they
right.
are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they are.
I've never heard of those things again. Can you?
Yeah,
tell me?
lutein and zeaxanthin. They're really great. There's some prescription medications that have them that have been clinically proven to help. Vitamin D is one, maintaining adequate testosterone levels. Vitamin D acts like a hormone in the body. So making sure that you have adequate vitamin D levels and you're taking it with vitamin K. Now, one of the main causes of death, especially in men, is cardiovascular events, right? And so we want to prevent any sort of artery blockages, and not taking vitamin K with vitamin D can lead to soft tissue calcification, meaning you absorb too much calcium and you put it in the wrong place. That can cause heart issues. So take your vitamin D with vitamin K.
Wow. I got to put your Nutrition Rewired up there and make sure everybody can see it. To hear you talk, you start to understand why it's important to speak to a registered dietitian like yourself, especially like yourself, who's so excellent.
Thank you.
I would not know. I would not know this stuff. I don't want you to tell me how much, but can you give me an idea of, you don't have to give any numbers, but how affordable is your service? Are there different levels? Because it's all very complicated.
Sure.
And it's all very individualized. How does one get involved with you professionally, and how expensive is it?
Yeah, so
how doable is it? How affordable is it, I should say?
I mean, it's an investment. So the group coaching program is the cheapest option. That's $450 a month. And you are basically part of a group that meets for an hour every single week for 3 months. And it comes with a book that I've written all about optimizing your health. So that's the cheapest option. And then you go into like individual consultation. So meeting with me for an hour is $250 for an hour. And then the follow-ups, get a little bit cheaper depending on how much time. I'm going to be upfront about my prices because, there's no sense in someone making a discovery call with me and then learning, oh my gosh, that's not something I'm ready to invest in. But the people that are ready to invest, they don't have to spend thousands of dollars on supplements or other nutritionists or health coaches down the road. So save your money and, spend less money on getting your nails done or the beer that you drink on the weekends, and book a few consultations with me individually, maybe just one. Yeah. And that alone could do you a huge service.
Yeah. So it seems like the individual one is better because you get one-on-one, and I'm sure you give people information based on their situation. Before you meet, do you have them send you information so you maximize the efficiency of the 1 hour?
I spend at least an hour looking over their intake form and 3-day food record, calculating their energy needs based on what their food record is, and maybe even doing research before I meet with them. So I am very much maximizing it. And if I have a client who says, listen, I'm on a budget, I want you to tell me everything that you can in an hour based on what you did in your assessment, I will. I don't like to overwhelm people, but I understand that people want to save money. Right. I like to save money too.
So you're not spending any time gathering information during that hour. It's already been gathered on an intake form that they make out and send in that you've gone over prior to the session, and the hour is spent telling you what you need to know based on the information you already have.
Yes. And I'm also getting feedback from them. I'm getting more information. And then after we meet, I send a follow-up of supplements that they should be taking, all the notes from our session, any goals that they should be focusing on, any resources. I have snacks, meal ideas, handouts, things like that. So the deliverables are, again, another half an hour that I take after we meet.
Can you explain again about the deliverables? What's that mean?
Yep. So the supplements, so I have a full script account, which gives all my clients access to discounted 25% off all high quality supplements.
Really?
Yep.
Even Thorn?
Even Thorn.
Wow.
Yep.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Seriously. Go ahead.
And then like there's even protein powders on there. People take collagen supplements, electrolytes. You get access to all of those for forever. Like I don't ever delete you from the system. And then you get handouts. So say someone's really struggling with healthy snacks, I give them a whole list of healthy snacks or smoothie recipes or meal ideas. Or if they have no idea how much calcium is in food, I give them a nice little chart of here's some great calcium rich foods. Or if someone's an athlete, I give them basically a plan of here's what you should eat and when and the timing of the meal. So I'm really I'm definitely not not offering a lot of information to my clients. I'm very passionate about it.
So when you think about the value you receive for X amount of money, especially for me, the individual one seems kind of very fair. Think of the money that gets spent at a doctor's office. I mean, you're going there to fix problems. Why not spend a few bucks to prevent them? And I have to say, I'm still shocked when I go to the doctor, the complete lack of talking about how to prevent stuff. They're checking to see if it's to see what's messed up. They're not spending any time on keeping things from getting messed up. They're not asking me what I eat at all. And this is 2000 whatever 22. I'm shocked at that.
And money is time too. I mean, that is how much time does it take you to commute to that doctor's appointment to then receive what we should be calling healthcare, preventative care? And I ask my clients what their bowel movements look like, what their hormones are like, how well are they sleeping? I'm asking them if they've been on antibiotics in their lifetime. How many antibiotics have you been on? We're really digging into the nitty gritty, and that's that type of work that actually brings you results.
All right. But just a couple more, take a couple more runs at what older women and older men should make sure they're getting supplement and vitamin wise.
I mean, I definitely would start with a blood test because not everybody needs a supplement just based on their age. Especially like when it comes to women, it's a little bit more specific. There's, going through the process of menopause is a whole transition that we typically use herbs to help with things like hot flashes and making that transition a little bit easier. But yeah, I would say vitamin D. I don't recommend supplementing with calcium. I know this is not what you asked for, but I don't recommend supplementing with calcium because that can, actually has been shown to interfere with artery health. So you really want to be careful with that. There's no supplements that I say are absolutely necessary, but if your diet is not optimal, a multivitamin, a good quality multivitamin would be a nice little insurance to take.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like, people cringe when I say this, but the grass-fed organ supplements, Ancestral Supplements is a great brand. I take them. It's a multivitamin, but it's really just grass-fed organs and they're dehydrated. And it's a natural source of like B12, vitamin A, vitamin D, copper, zinc, iron. I take those supplements and I like those better than like anything.
How about protein powder? I think did you recommend Naked protein powder? Why is that good? It is good too.
So protein powders in general, they contain heavy metals, especially plant proteins like pea protein. But quality again is very important because heavy metals and then absorption, if it's extracted in a good way. And then there's a lot of added ingredients. So you mentioned Naked. The brand Naked is fantastic because there's no added ingredients. It's just what it is. It's either pea protein or whey protein. That's something that's really simple and easy to digest because there's often like sucralose or other artificial sweeteners or flavors or gums in a protein powder that can make you, less healthy by adding those into your diet. But yeah, good quality is important.
I got to say, I actually feel immediately better. I have this weird sense of well-being after I make a shake out of 1 scoop of Naked protein. 3/4 of a banana? I don't know why 3/4. 1 dose of magnesium, the proper dose. I don't really need that. So it's Oh, 2% milk, 1 scoop, 1 banana, and ice. Grind it up. It feels so good. There must be something in there that I'm generally missing that gives me. Maybe
Which kind of naked? Is it the pea or the whey protein?
whey.
Okay,
Why?
excellent.
Is that good?
No, I like whey. I mean, if people tolerate it digestive wise, whey protein is fantastic. It's very easy to absorb and digest, and it's a
We're good.
very easy complete protein.
Did, I guess we should finish up because your time is valuable and we want to save something for next time. Recommendations for amounts of D3 and K. I suppose you'd have to see the blood test first to know that, right?
So I can recommend what you want your levels to be around based on the research that we've seen. You want to aim to have like around 50 be your number, your lab value for vitamin D. Any lower than 50 and any higher, we tend to see less positive health outcomes. This is more specific to the COVID research recently. You're less likely, based on the research, they've showed that you are less likely to develop or die from COVID if your vitamin D levels were around the 50 range. That's the optimal range.
And you should get vitamin K with your vitamin D. And Pure, for example, makes a liquid vitamin D that has
Mm-hmm.
the correct ratio of vitamin K, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I just like that one because you put it under your tongue. If you are someone who has any digestive issues, worried about absorption, it's great to do a sublingual because you bypass the digestive tract.
Sublingual works because they're very vascular right under your tongue, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the blood practically comes in contact with whatever you put under there. There's only a thin membrane to get through. Well, I can't say enough how great you are and how I think you're by far the best. Oh, let's talk about the podcast a little bit before you go. You do a
Yeah.
podcast that is great.
Thank
And
you.
you can get to it at the website, which is nutritionrewired.com. And it's easy to find Nutrition Rewired podcasts. And you have a recent episode, Medical Mushrooms, Gut Health, Immune Function, and Cancer with a guy named Jeff Chilton. Medical mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms.
Yes.
What are those? What are those?
Reishi, turkey tail, oyster mushrooms, really, really great immune benefits and cancer fighting properties. So I break down a lot of the research in my newsletter, but on the episode, Jeff does a really great job at kind of explaining it. And then shiitake mushrooms too. If you're looking for one at your local grocery store, he points out the benefits of shiitake mushrooms. So I actually stir fried some up last night, and olive oil, a little garlic for some antimicrobial, and really great way to boost your immune and gut health.
And then the previous food sensitivity testing, elimination diets, and then picky eating and gut health. We don't have time to go into every one, but they're all there and easily accessible. Very good looking website. I don't know who designed it. Was that you? You did a great job.
Thank you. I had some help. I had a friend who is really good with web design, so I kind of designed it all, and he put it in from my Squarespace account into WordPress.
All right, thanks once again, folks. A lot of times you have to change how you think about things, change how you think about food, but changing how you think about spending money on being healthy. There are certain things that are a great investment, and I don't mean to be plugging for you, but I just think it's important to get good advice, and good stuff costs a little bit of money, and I think it's worth it to rethink how you think about food and spending money on food and supplements. So thank you so much. I don't want to overdo it. You're the best. Thanks to all who hung out and asked questions. Appreciate it. If you would share this, folks, that'll be a big help. That you may have people that that would benefit from this. So thanks, Erin. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Bradley. It was great to see you.
Nutritionrewired.com. That's pretty easy to remember. Bye, everyone.